Welcome to Spectrum News at 4, coming to you live from Oyo. My name is Ofonono Joseph. A look at the top stories. Court grants federal government's request to shift Senator Natasha's trial till next year. Akwa Ibom State government bans masquerade, orders 13th month pay before December 20th. Plus, death toll in Indonesia floods reportedly passes 500. Stay tuned for details of these stories and more after this time out. Good afternoon once again, and thank you for joining us on the news at this hour. We begin the news at this hour from the national scene, where northern governors have said that the region stands on the brink of losing its future to escalating insecurity and deepening poverty unless leaders take urgent and decisive action. Speaking at a joint meeting of the Northern States Governors Forum, NSGF, and the Northern Traditional Rulers Council in Kaduna, Chairman of the forum and Gombe State Governor Muhammadu Yahaya said the North is today confronted with the grim reality of insecurity and poverty that seeks to undermine its existence. The two-day meeting held at the Kaduna State Government House drew 19 governors, traditional rulers, security chiefs, and civil society representatives in what was described as a final push for a coordinated response to terrorism, banditry, and social decay in the region. Governor Yahaya called for the rejection of divisive narratives, saying the crisis is driven not only by crime, but also by underdevelopment, illiteracy, poor resource management, climate change, and the abandonment of millions of our Almajiri and out-of-school children. On judicial matters, a High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, sitting in Maitama, has granted the request by the prosecution to shift further hearing in the alleged criminal defamation charge brought against Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF. At the mention of the case, Akpoti-Uduaghan's lawyer, Ehoje Idahoza's son, announced his appearance and told the court that the prosecution was not represented. Justice Chizoba Oji said the court received a letter from the prosecution requesting an adjournment and later had the letter handed to Idahoza, who said he was not served with it. Meanwhile, Idahoza argued that the prosecution's request for adjournment was not brought to the notice of the defense 48 hours before the court sitting as required. Ruling, Justice Oji said she agreed that the application for adjournment did not meet the required threshold, but added that she would grant the adjournment in the interest of justice. She therefore rejected Idahoza's prayer to proceed and adjourned till February 23, 2026, the trial. Away from that, First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu has called for renewed commitment to ending the human immunodeficiency virus, HIV, and acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, by 2030. Tinubu, who met the call in a statement on her X handle to mark World AIDS Day 2025, themed Overcoming Disruptions, Transforming the AIDS Response, said the annual commemoration serves as a reminder to revamp efforts toward ending HIV and AIDS by 2030. She noted that the country has made progress in HIV prevention, treatment and care over the years. However, the journey towards an AIDS-free nation continues. The First Lady encouraged young people to take responsibility for their health by knowing their HIV status and seeking treatment if they test positive. In the meantime, as Nigerians join the rest of the world to commemorate World AIDS Day today, a medical expert has raised fresh concerns about the growing vulnerability of young people to HIV and AIDS, calling for renewed commitment to prevention, early testing, and sustained treatment. Speaking in an interview, a Nigerian registered nurse, Akwawo Okpan, described the current HIV and AIDS situation in Nigeria as a mixed picture of progress and persistent risk. He noted that prevention and regular testing remain the strongest tools for ending the spread of the virus, emphasizing that young people must take practical steps such as practicing safe sex, avoiding multiple sexual partners, getting tested frequently, and seeking reliable information instead of relying on myths or social media trends. Akwawo noted that many young people still do not know their HIV status, which increases silent transmission within communities, adding that for those already living with HIV and AIDS, ongoing care and treatment, especially strict adherence to antiretroviral therapy, plays a crucial role in stopping the spread of the virus. He explained that effective treatment reduces the viral load to an undetectable level, making transmission almost impossible, while calling on young people to take advantage of available support systems such as counseling units, treatment centers, peer groups, and community-based programs that help them stay consistent with their care. Recall that World AIDS Day is marked annually on December 1st to raise awareness of the AIDS pandemic caused by the spread of HIV infection and mourning those who have died of the disease. In a separate development, the Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Policy Communication, Daniel Bwala, has disclosed that the federal government will soon reveal the identities of individuals and networks responsible for financing terrorism in the country. Speaking during an interview, Bwala said that the Tinubu administration is already taking far-reaching decisions on national security, which will soon become clear to Nigerians. He added that the current administration is intensifying its efforts to counter the terrorist threats and will soon expose those financing and enabling terrorist activities across the country. The presidential aide further stated that world powers have increasingly recognized the need to support countries like Nigeria, where extremist groups have sought to expand their operations. From the Red Chambers, the Deputy Senate President, Senator Barau Jibrin, has called on security agencies to go after the marauding bandits who have been terrorizing some villages in Sanyawa and Shanono local government areas of Kano State. He made the appeal while reacting to Saturday's attack at Yankamaya village in Sanyawa, urging security agencies to double their efforts and take the fight to the criminal elements allegedly from neighboring states. In a statement by his media aide, Ishmael Mudashir, the senator said incursions of the criminals into the two local governments must be stopped immediately. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has banned masquerades from parading the streets of the state and terrorizing the citizenry. Speaking during an event at Methodist Church Nigeria, Uyo, The governor also announced the ban of masquerade display at the state Christmas festival celebration, cautioning local government chairmen to exclude them from their cultural presentations, stressing that the status of Akwa Ibom as a Christian state must be maintained at all cost. On the Christmas celebration, the governor directed the accountant general to pay the 13th month salary, popularly known as Eno-Ember, to workers before December 2025. He also assured that rice will be sent to all the villages across the state through the local government council and will be supported by political office holders during the December homegoing event. The state chief executive also used the occasion to admonish Christians to desist from unnecessary negative criticism, but join hands to build a peaceful and united Akwa Ibom where dividends of true democracy thrives. Government House correspondent January reports that the governor therefore reassured of his commitment to rendering transparent and accountable service to the people. Now to Africa, where Congolese Nobel Peace Laureate Dr. Denis Mukwege has denounced the ongoing peace process between Kinshasa and M23 rebels aimed at ending the fighting in eastern DRC. In a statement, Mukwege called the Washington and Doha-led initiative illegitimate, precarious, and incapable of guaranteeing lasting peace. Mukwege said the deal neglects the root causes and regional dynamics of the conflict and instead serves foreign geostrategic interests. He also claimed that the people of North and South Kivu have been excluded from the negotiations and are still deprived of their fundamental rights. On the foreign scene, former Minister Tulip Sodiq has been sentenced to 2 years in prison in Bangladesh after being put on trial in her absence alongside 60 affected areas. According to the government's disaster agency, the floods, which were caused by a rare cyclone that had formed over the Malacca Strait, have hit 3 provinces and impacted some 1.4 million people. The agency said another 500 people remain missing, while thousands more have been injured. Still to come in the news. Football Association to punish Arsenal after 1-1 draw with Chelsea. Stay tuned as we bring you more stories after this break. Welcome back and thank you so much for staying tuned. Now we conclude on the rest of our news stories. On our business news, the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, has said that it is expecting to rake in $10 billion from the 2025 licensing bid round. The Commission's Chief Executive Officer, Engineer Gbenga Komolafe, broke the news during the 2025 licensing round portal launch in Abuja. The bid exercise is scheduled to last for 6 months, with effect from today, 1st December 2025. He said the exercise is built to increase the country's crude oil production to 2 billion barrels over the next 10 years when the blocks are fully operational. Still in business, Dangote Petroleum Refinery will from today supply 50 million liters of petrol per day into the Nigerian market. The company said the decision was taken to ensure that there is no shortage of the product during the festive season. This translates to 1.5 billion litres of premium motor spirit PMS for the month of December. It added that the same amount of product will also be supplied in January 2026. President and Chief Executive of Dangote Industries Limited, Aliko Dangote, announced the plans and also revealed ongoing engagement with petroleum marketeers to strengthen distribution systems, including expanding the use of CNG-powered haulage. We move now to health, where the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors (NARD) has suspended its 29-day nationwide strike after the federal government met part of its demands. However, the union warned that it would resume industrial action if the remaining conditions are not fulfilled within the agreed timeline. The Secretary General of NARD, Dr. Shuaibu Ibrahim, told journalists that the strike, which began on November 1, 2025, was suspended following deliberations at an extraordinary National Executive Council meeting held on Saturday. However, Shuaibu emphasized that the association will not hesitate to resume industrial action if the federal government fails to meet the remaining demands within the agreed time frame. Still talking health, as Nigeria marks World AIDS Day 2025 with the theme Overcoming Disruption, Transforming the AIDS Response, medical experts say the country can achieve HIV epidemic control if people living with the virus consistently use antiretroviral therapy. Given the effectiveness of ART, the Joint United Nations Programme on HIV and AIDS, and stakeholders in the fight against the infection assured that it was possible to declare an end to the AIDS epidemic by 2030 through effective use of ART. The researchers noted that the days of HIV infection as a dreaded disease are numbered, affirming that with effective use of ART by people living with the disease, Nigeria and the rest of the world will be able to get to a point where no new infection will occur. World AIDS Day, marked annually on 1st December, is a global reminder of the fight against HIV and AIDS, progress made, and the gaps that persist. In the world of sports, the Football Association (FA) is set to punish Arsenal on disciplinary grounds after their 1-1 draw at Chelsea. The Gunners came away from a feisty encounter at Stamford Bridge with 1 point. Arsenal had 6 players booked by referee Anthony Taylor, with 3 cautions coming in the first 30 minutes. As a result, the club will face a £25,000 fine under the FA's rules for accumulating 6 or more yellow cards in one game. Still in sports, Super Eagles midfielder Alex Iwobi has made his prediction for the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations starting later this month. Iwobi believes Nigeria will win the 2025 AFCON trophy, having come close in the last edition in Ivory Coast. According to the Fulham Star, the Super Eagles have the players to win the competition. Meanwhile, AFCON 2025 will commence on December 21 and end on January in Morocco. On our entertainment news, Grammy-winning singer Tems has expressed gratitude for her remarkable success in the music industry, stating that she has achieved more than she ever imagined. In a recent interactive session with fans on X, Tems spoke on her accomplishments, revealing she has surpassed her goals. According to her, she is looking forward to future plans, crediting her success to her journey from having a 9-to-5 job to becoming a renowned artist. And that's all we have for you at this time. You have been watching Spectrum News at 4. Kindly follow us on all our social media handles and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. My name remains Ofonono Joseph. Good afternoon and happy new month.